Hey guys, David Patrick Green, davidpatrickgreen.com, hackhollywood.com. Today's acting video is really simple and yet really complicated. But the title is How I Booked Two Roles, not just one, but two roles in the movie X-Men Dark Phoenix. So the simple answer to the question how I booked two roles in X-Men Dark Phoenix, which I actually did. I did two separate roles in this feature film, is really simple. And that is I laid the foundations, okay? It's like building a house. You've got to build the house from the ground up, and the foundations need to be very solid. And you can't worry about the roof or the furniture or the wallpaper before you have laid the foundations. And you should spend most of your money making sure that the foundations and the structure is really solid. You can always change the little things, but it's really important that you lay solid foundations. So all I'm going to say is that on that topic, and now I'll talk about the specifics of how I actually booked two roles in a major motion picture. Okay, so I can't go all the way back to the beginning of my acting career, but let's just say all along the way I've tried to be a good person, have good acting skills, and read for the right parts. And when I see a part I'm right for, I usually have a pretty good shot at booking it. And so I booked a show called Designated Survivor. And that was really cool with Kiefer Sutherland, and I was very happy about that. And I went and did that shoot and, did my job, didn't think too much of it. Met a few of the people, producers, directors, Maggie Q, some of the other actors, etc. Very good experience. Then a few months, well, if not several months later, I get an email saying, in a hurry, like on a Saturday, can you send us your demo reel? Well, I don't really believe in demo reels, so I don't really have one because I've never been asked for it. I think I've been asked for a demo reel 2 times in my entire life, and I think I booked the job both times not having it. And so I didn't have a demo reel, but I had a few old clips floating around on YouTube, and I sent them those clips. They were old, like 10 years old. And I sent them that, and then I think and they never sent me any material. So I was waiting for material, and they never sent me the material. And the deadline went past when they said they needed the audition, but I hadn't received any material. So I figured, it was over with. They weren't interested in me. And then I got material the next day on Sunday. And I felt like, okay, well, whatever. They've obviously chosen somebody else, but I will do it as a courtesy, just to at least show them what I could have done. And I did a self-tape, and I sent it to them. And before the end of the day on Sunday, I found out that I got this part on X-Men Dark Phoenix. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. And they flew me to Montreal and put me up in a hotel. And I got very little information. I really didn't know what the part was. I didn't know what came before. I didn't know anything about what was going on at all in the scene. And this is how acting really works, okay? You don't know what's going on. So you have to just trust your instincts. Learn to trust who you are and adapt very quickly. And if they like what you're giving them, then they will say great. And if they don't, they can give you some direction. But you literally have to show up almost naked and being proud of being naked, because you have to really be proud of who you are. You have to own who you are and not question it and not worry about what they want, because you don't know what they want. They don't know what they want. So I did it. They seemed to like it. We did several takes, blah, blah, blah. We did it. It was over with. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Go home. Nothing. No real major feedback on the whole thing. I didn't feel that great about it because I knew so little about what I was doing, but I guess I was wrong. Another 6 months go by, and I get an email from my agent saying, unfortunately, the part you were in was deleted because they tested it on audiences, and the audiences, I guess, weren't that clear on what was going on at that part of the movie. So they have rewritten some of the scenes. Your character is gone, but would you like another character? And I thought, is this actually happening? Like, I thought I didn't do a very good job the first time because I knew so little. And yet they're offering me another part without even auditioning. And I said, I mean, what do you say? Okay. So I, again, was flown to Montreal, put up in a hotel. I was given nothing, no information whatsoever because it didn't require an audition. When I got to wardrobe the night before the shoot, they handed me an envelope with a piece of paper in it with my lines. And that's all it had. My lines. Didn't really say much about, like, I don't even know if the character title was there. It was just some lines. Learn them. Maybe it means something to you, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It didn't. I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't know anything about what was going on before or what was coming after. Knew nothing. I didn't know anything. And I'm like, wow, what an eye-opener. This is acting. Trusting who you are, trusting your instincts. They give you some information, you make something out of it. They like it. They don't like it. They tell you try it some other way. That's it. That's what it is. It's bearing your soul and letting your instincts come out. But the more interesting thing is, how did I get 2 parts? Why? How? I don't understand. And then I got to the set. I got to the set. We did the shoot. The producer came up to me, and I had met him before. And he said, hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Like he hadn't seen me before. And I said, well, I was here before. And he goes, yeah, I know. And it was interesting. And we didn't really talk about it. And he just said, yeah, I mean, so this is what we're doing here. This person's probably a little bit like this. And you're like, okay, I'll throw everything out that I had prepared out the window because it doesn't sound anything like what I was going to do. And I did it, and I can literally see them in the background, like they're right behind the camera. And I can see, they're not on the village, which is normally where they are. They're standing right behind the camera. And I can see if they're liking it, and I can see if they're not liking it. It's incredibly intimidating. And yet, what are you going to do? Be intimidated and give up and cry, And so I did it to the best of my ability. Again, I didn't know if it was any good. And they're like, do it faster, do it slower, do it this way, do it that way. Okay. Again, I don't know if I'm doing it right. And then they said, okay, thank you very much. And you can go now. And I was like, wow, what an experience this really was. And he just, the producer and the director came up and they thanked me. They didn't even have to be there. It was unnecessary, but they both came up. And then I kind of did the math. I figured this out. I'm like, okay, so how did I really get to be on this movie twice? Major movie, $100 million budget plus. And I looked up these producers and this director, and I realized they are also the executive director on Designated Survivor. And I had been on Designated Survivor. And so that told me people are paying attention to you. Even if you don't really have a relationship with someone, they pay attention. You're someone they've already hired. Much better to hire someone that they already know, like, and trust than hire a completely new stranger. I mean, doesn't that make sense? Job 101. I manage a Starbucks. I worked at another cafe before, and we had a barista there, and he was really good. So if I need a new barista, who am I going to call? Am I going to bring in a stranger? Some stranger with a resume? I don't care how good the resume is. If I know that there's an employee out there who I like, and I know them, and I know what I'm getting, that's who I'm going to bring in first. Okay? So that's what I understood is when people see you work, they pay attention. And if you do a good job for them, and you don't ruin the place, I mean, the bar is pretty low. Do your job, and don't destroy the place, and don't raise a fuss. And people will want to bring you back. It's just natural. So they not only brought me back after Designated Survivor, they brought me into a whole new movie with virtually no audition. The next time they didn't even need to audition me. They're like, we can trust this guy. We kind of know what he's all about. And this part, I think he's right for it. Just offer him the part. And they brought me in and I did it. And that's how I got 2 jobs on X-Men Dark Phoenix. So Guys, it's super simple. Having an acting career is super simple. Do your job, make sure you know what your job actually is. Like, you know, who are you? What can you do? What can you do really well, better than most other people? What's your uniqueness? What are your unique qualities? And learn how to promote those unique qualities. And this isn't about branding, by the way. Branding is promoting qualities that you want people to believe you have. Promoting your true qualities is just telling people who you really are and making sure that they're aware of that and trying not to be something that you're not. And just do a good job and don't destroy the place when you show up for work. And trust me, people will remember you and they will bring you back in over and over and over, and they will tell others about you as well. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate that you put your trust into me. And if you liked this little story, please like it, share it, subscribe to my channel, and get more videos just like this. I'll talk to you soon.